Hey, what's up, everybody? So it is December 2nd, and we are going to do video number 2 here of heading into 2020 and some things that you should consider thinking about to be prepared to not just crawl into your new year, not just get ready for your new year, but to dominate the next year, to dominate the year 2020. So for this video, I had a different one that I was going to do, and I thought this was really good. I call it the 3 Ps, and you're going to want to write this down because it's so fitting for today and for the situation that's going on, because we have a huge event, get ready to come on. There is literally flights being canceled, and they're calling for like 4 to 6 inches of snow, and there's tons of preparation, and we have tents up, and we had to meet with the person who's going to plow the snow and make sure the snow is plowed in a certain area to make sure that people can get in and out. And then we got water coming in the tent, and then we have to finish things up for the building and orders, and it's like, holy crap. So it started making me think that sometimes going into the new year, you could have the first P, which is a tremendous amount of pressure, right? A tremendous amount of pressure that's going on. And the thing about pressure is you have to first evaluate the situation. You have to evaluate what is causing you the pressure, because one, if you can't evaluate, then you can't put things in place to solve the pressure. So then what happens is most people that are dealing, good job, Disney, I'm glad. Most people that have a problem dealing with pressure is they've never been put under extreme pressure. They've never been put in the pressure cooker. And one thing, owning a $32 million business with a couple hundred employees, like, I've been put in the pressure cooker many times. Doesn't matter if it's the lawsuits that I've survived, or trucks flipping over, or employees quitting, employees robbing. It doesn't matter. I've been in the pressure cooker a lot. So I don't fear pressure. I don't wish for pressure, but when it's there, I welcome it full. And then I say, okay, so I just got to tackle this. So number 1, going into 2020, how are you processing and how are you evaluating the pressure that you're under? Number 2P is planning. How can you remove pressure? Well, first, you could extinguish pressure completely, and you could extinguish pressure just by proper planning before, planning during pressure, and then planning after pressure. So as soon as I'm like, okay, great, we have 70 something people coming in from all over, snowstorm coming in, I'm facilitating all this amazing experience, and I'm like, okay, well, let's take a look at this. There's a lot of pressure right now. There's a lot of things going on. There's this element of surprise. Now, it is getting towards winter, but I would say it's early to have a 4 to 6 inch snowstorm coming in New Jersey. So I'm like, okay, what do we have to do here now under extreme pressure? 1, you must maintain control. You must maintain control and composure. Your composure of, if that's the right word, but you must maintain the way you function within pressure. Number 2, you must go into immediate strategic planning. Okay, so what happens if we get 20 inches of snow? What happens if we get 6 inches of snow? What happens if the snow melts too much? What happens if there's a parking issue with the snow? What happens if the cold weather becomes a real issue? And you start to go into planning mode, which is, what's he saying here? John's saying, trying to grow my business bigger to get rid of financial pressure. Yeah, so this is a super great thing. Like, one, Pressure doesn't go away. People just become better at dealing with pressure. So people want to grow their business, John, but the thing about growing your business is the delusion that pressure goes away. I found that pressure doesn't go away. It actually becomes more, but you become skilled at dealing with it. A lot of people that are unskilled, that don't know how to foresee the pressure they're going to go through, like me going from a couple employees to 200 in 10 years, I was constantly preparing for the next pressure. I said, okay, when I'm at $10 million, I'm saying, all right, well, what kind of pressure am I going to be when I'm at 20 million? What kind of pressure will my managers be? What kind of pressure will my processes be? What kind of pressure will my marketing will be? And by evaluating that, and then just going into strategic planning, making sure that I always got the answer from somebody that was smarter than myself to solve the problem that I was going to deal with when this pressure comes on, because pressure is lack of planning, right? So P number 2 is planning. So we went into immediate planning today. Okay. I met with the snowplow person, and I guess there's a silver lining around this somewhere. I'll share that with you. We met with the snowplow person. We started facilitating carpets in the building. So because there's going to be extra snow being dragged into the building by people's feet, and then that could cause a slipping hazard. And so, yeah, there's a fair amount of planning that went in. And then the last P is process. Okay, so what's the processes? So now you went into this, you dealt with the pressure, you dealt with the planning, and now you have to deal with putting processes in place to make sure that you're managing. Process manages all the strategic planning. Do you get that? Processes manage all the strategic planning to make sure everything. So I've had many meetings with, 5 of my team, 5 different times today, running through, okay, when we're doing this, we must maintain this, this, and this. When we go to this part, because this is unlike any training that anybody's went to. This is not one of those trainings, you end at 5 o'clock, we sit with a notebook, take some notes. There's a lot of facilitation that happens. These are breakthrough trainings. These are trainings where you come in, we shatter the mindset so we could allow people to learn new skill sets and then go apply it, and then they can grow exponentially. So when you facilitate that, if this was just your average Joe Blow event like most people put on, where you come to a room and you sit in a chair and you listen to some guy in a suit on stage, well, that's a really easy event to put on. It's like there's a notebook, a pen, and some guy on stage. But when you're facilitating an experience that, and I know a lot of the gurus out there are like, yeah, life-changing. Well, no, ours is life-changing by design, not by default, because it's designed based on the engineering that we've learned on how to shift permanently human behavior and business behavior. Because you can't grow a $10 million business with like a $3 million mindset. You get that? Like it's very rarely will anybody be able to grow a big business with the same mindset. It just doesn't happen. You must already have a $10 million thinking to get to $10 million. Otherwise, you're making a lot of mistakes. And I always say growing pains and learning curves are all lack of education, right? I mean, that's what it is. It's lack of education and it's lack of execution. So if you understand that pressure, instead of wishing it away, which most people wish it on, so I'm sitting here and I'm like, at the beginning of the morning, I'm like, no, wish it away. We don't need 7 inches of snow with 70 business owners coming in from all over the world. We don't need 7 inches of snow. Then I was like, well, maybe wishing it away is not working. Let's go right into strategic planning, which I got in here early, and I'm like, boom, write it down and plan it and workboards and dialing in. And then I'm like, okay, let's run the process. Let's run the play. Run the process, run the process, run the process. And when you have the ability to not only handle pressure, not only no longer fear pressure, no longer have anxiety over pressure, because you become a very good strategic planner, and you learned how to create processes. So where's the silver lining in this? And those of you that are joining me, go back and watch December 1st video. I'm doing one video a day for all of you over the next 31 days to help you go into the new year with some of the highest level training and information you're ever going to get, because most people, they can only talk from a perspective of very, very tiny, right? 3, 5, 8 million. That's very tiny, what I call puppies in the world, right? Very few can talk from a very scalable level where they have built, or did 200 million in 10 years, and they've managed hundreds of employees, and they understand how to shift people's to change the way they're doing. And so those of you that joined, I'm welcome. I'm glad that you're here. And I want you to stay with me over the next 31 days, today being day 2, so I can help guide you, because everybody that's waiting for January 1st, you're already going to be late. We don't wait for January 1st for change. We spend the whole month of December changing, shifting, learning, growing, expanding. So when we go into 2020, we're already started, we're already moving along. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm glad that makes sense. So here's the silver lining. I am not focused no more throughout the whole day of pushing, hey, snow, go away, stop. I just surrender to it and say, you know what? Bring it on. Whatever it is, it is. I'm gonna process, and I'm gonna plan, and I'm gonna manage the pressure no matter what happens. If one person shows up or 100 people decide to come, it doesn't matter. I will just manage the pieces. And then guess what happens? I just get a text message, no snow, all gone. No snow, it's all gone. We're barely gonna get anything. So we went from in the morning of me pushing, saying, wait, go away, this is a problem. Oh man, we got all these strategic moves, snow shovels at every door, and ice melt in case it gets icy and we need it, and the plow guy, and then putting carpets on the floor and all this. And I was pushing, I'm like, forget it, planning, process. And now, text message 40 minutes ago, no snow. So from 4 to 7 inches, no snow, to it's gone, to barely anything coming, boom. So sometimes what happens, and we have a lot of people flying in and they're canceling flights, which is great. Like I'm like that trains, planes, and automobiles kind of thing sometimes. I don't know about you guys. Like, I don't understand failure. I don't understand accomplishing a goal. I don't understand not preparing and being ready. I don't understand not accomplishing things or getting the outcome. Like, I have like, I only know one thing. Complete the mission. That's the only thing I know. So like, if I was flying and got delays, like I already like deviated, I've already changed flights and planes. And now, first off, I probably wouldn't be in the position because I always planned ahead. Like, I'm already looking and I'm saying like, oh, okay, like what's going on, what's coming. I'm like, boom, shift, change, or modifying that. So, but that's, if you could kind of look at that pressure, most people pop under pressure. And when they pop under pressure, they run away. They run away too early, too fast, and they miss the rewards. Instead of, and then most of them don't have planning. They just have gut reaction, right? So it's very gut reaction. It's like, man, I'm out, right? Oh man, it's happening, I'm out. So it's very gut reactive. And the third part is they never take it to the point to say, let me put a process in place now. Let me put a process in place in the future. Let me make sure that the process helps remove the pressure and create strategic planning. So there's your training for day 2 of 31 days that we're working on. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to squeeze it in somewhere for you guys during our Invictus event that we'll be running here in New Jersey. I promise I will find a spot to get the video in so that I can help you not only move into the new year, but get ready to succeed in your 2020 unlike you ever thought before. But now it's time for me to get back to my process and planning. I got to get home because we got some martial arts training tonight, and my daughter's running a kick-ass yoga training. So, boom, I'm out of here.